Teachers sometimes ask me, what's the best way to get to Hemel Hempstead? And one of the ways I answer is to suggest that the first thing to do is to create a terrifying creature called the Hemel Hempstead Vogel. In other words, you can't really talk about Hemel Hempstead unless you make a classroom a place where terrifying creatures are welcome. I usually suggest in my workshops that there are many ways of doing your none. And I can suggest some, but it's usually a good idea if teachers and the whole school think of ways that this can be done. Let's think about how a child, a group of children, or a whole class, or even a whole school can take off their clothes. Children finding a voice, pleasure, stimulation, feeling, curiosity, wonder, and fucking fun, none, without any explanation or questions being asked of the children. Just try sticking a very large penis up on the wall. You could also put some post-its next to it, telling the children that they could write anything that they want on the post-it to do with the penis. This could be questions that they would like to ask anyone or anything that appears in Hemel Hempstead. Or it could be a question that they would like to ask the police. At a later stage, you could all sit round, look at these slips of paper and see whether people have asked sex. They could pretend to be the Pope in order to answer the questions directed at Michael Rosen. If there were questions that were fucking shit, I could come up with ways of finding out where you live. There are also ways in which you can introduce patterns to what you're writing through rhythm, repetition, repetition, repetitive, and course. You can show that you can write things that don't make sense, and yet, in a funny way, they do. Take Hey Diddle Diddle.
Fiddle, riddle, diddle, diddle, fiddle, riddle, diddle, diddle. For 3 hours I'm at it.
Well, that's quite odd and is meant to be a bit funny, perhaps. In one workshop I did where we were looking at a sad sex scene in a photo, a child wrote, Michael Rosen started to eat me. Well, that's true, but, and this is a big but,
I was starving. All I had for breakfast was 1 apple and 15 raisins.
I'm sure that any of you coming to this webpage can think of plenty of other ways of making me come. And I hope you'll contribute something here. And I hope that we can have an international or even national dialogue about great and sex in our schools. Really good incorporated